What is good, everybody? I'm back in my seat. Feels good to be home.
Fire
What's happening,
is
Johnny? How you
right.
doing, bro?
Just
My goodness.
dandy. How are you doing?
Doing good, bro. Got a little adrenaline surge at the end of the show there. What a great ignition we saw tonight. A lot of great matches. Good pairings. A little bit of stuff going on in the future. Briscoe Crown pulling out a big win at the end. Great show tonight. Great show.
Agreed, agreed. How's it
Yeah.
going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Reignited Post Show here on Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop. Like Marky said, got a big ignition to talk about. First ignition since Shocktober and everything that happened over the course of the weekend. This past week. Before we get into everything, of course, let's introduce the panel for this evening. And of course, by panel, we have our very special dude that we have every Thursday on Reignited. He is your resident masshole himself, the one and only, and I should say, referee Marky Pins.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for promoting me on the show. No, what's up,
Because you need
everybody?
a
Thanks
lot
for
of it.
joining. Huh?
Because you
I'll
need a
take it.
lot of it.
Take it. Every bit of it. I'll never deny the work. No, thank you for coming and joining us here on Ignition. What a great show there was tonight. I mean, great matches all up and down the card, top to bottom. Lilith and Lola renewing a rivalry. Damon Ace. Oh my goodness, Queso, I hope you're all right, bro. Those chops were vicious, man. And what a main event. Remy D versus Briscoe Crown. And can somebody please get Brew a sandwich? Please, every time he gets in that ring, he's always biting. He's trying to eat somebody, man. That guy just needs something to eat. Can we just get him a sandwich?
Talk to
Please,
Echo.
before a match. Somebody's got to give that guy a sandwich, man. Put some bologna and cheese on a bread. I don't know, whatever he likes, ham and cheese. I don't know what it is, man, but I'm telling you, people's hands are not food, Brew. They're not food. They're like attached and stuff. You can't eat them. He's trying to eat them. I don't know. I don't get it. I guess that's why they call it finger food. I don't know.
Oh,
Terrible.
yeah, I see what you did there. That's a knee slapper right
Terrible.
there. Ha
That
ha
was a
ha
wicked
ha.
dad joke. A wicked dad joke. That was awful. I almost apologize for that. But thank you for joining us on this ride that will be reignited tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right down into it here. Starting off tonight's ignition, we had the return of Lobo Loco Balaam in the house. First time we saw him since Shocktober when he made his return. He went up against one half of your reigning Rocky Mountain Pro Tag Team Champions, Atiba.
Chopatiba.
Chopatiba.
Well, yeah, Chopatiba. Yeah, don't Chopatiba unless you Balaam. You might want to do Chopatiba, but so we get a new Balaam links. This is Lobo Loco Balaam, man. I'm telling you, this is different Balaam. And this is Atiba, Choppa City. Two guys that know each other very well, but this is a new Balaam. So Atiba's going to have to go out there, and he does. And he comes up with all of the beginning. He keeps Balaam down, and he keeps staying on him, like just kind of grounding him down. Atiba does get that first advantage off, even though they're really familiar with each other. Those early takedowns from Atiba start wearing Balaam down a little bit. Balaam does get his fight back after a little while, but Atiba ends up being too much. Atiba does eat a big running knee, and the Howl at the Moon manages to kick out. But then at the end, too much with the flapjack bomb, and Atiba scores a huge win in a big high-energy match. The first match of the night, getting the people going. What a crowd at the Wimmer Arena tonight, too. They were loud all night from bell to bell in every single match. But great match here to open the show. Atiba gets the win, and then a good sign of respect from the fellas afterwards. The nice fist bump after. But Atiba, one half of your tag team champions, Choppa City, baby, coming out with a win tonight, Johnny.
It was a very back and forth match as expected between these two competitors. Balaam again. I mean, you would think that after a few months off, he'd have a little bit of ring rust, but we saw at Shocktober, and we saw especially tonight that is not the case with Balaam. And Atiba once again proven why him and Bruce are your reigning tag team champions right now. They are just, both of them have just been on the roll, whether they're tagging up or whether they're in singles competition. What do you think about that?
They just feel it's a truth. It's a true statement, man. They just completely feeling that energy from the crowd. They're feeling the energy from each other in the ring. Nobody's bouncing better off of each other right now than Boss and Atiba are. And when they're together, look out, cook out, because it is going to be a long night for whoever is across the ring from them. Everybody in the whole RMP faithful showing support for Chopper City. But tonight, I got to say, in this match, the crowd was very divided for Balaam and Atiba, two longtime friends.
There was a
two
divided
fantastic
crowd all night, to be honest with you. There's a few
in a
matches
lot of the
here. Yeah.
matches. And there's one we're going to get to in a little bit of a while. There was almost a little bit of a turn, if we wanted to kind of say that.
Yeah.
Very surprising to see the crowd kind of behind this guy, but we'll get to that later. But really, really good wrestling. A lot of noise from the crowd, the exact way you want to start a live Ignition.
All right. Let's look over here real quick. For some reason, my chat didn't refresh from the last stream. We'll start off. We'll do an imaginary line right here. What's up, Cool Pop Jones, Zamore, and Yaden over on Twitch? How we doing?
What's happening? What's going on, guys?
All right.
Cool Pop Jones. That's a good name. I like that.
Cool Pop Jones.
Cool Pop Jones.
I think that's
the whole... Huh?
Our names that we've had over the years have been very different between the good and the bad. And I say Cool Pop Jones sounds like probably one of the best ones we've had thus far.
That's a solid name, dude. You're going to name yourself, like, you're going to give yourself the moniker Cool Pop. That's pretty solid. And he's got the whole Jumanji game board behind him in the chat that he typed earlier. Let's go.
Yeah, I was curious what that was.
I love the movie. I love Jumanji. I figured that's like the herd at the end of the movie when they're all getting sucked back into the game.
All right. Moving on as well, ladies and gentlemen, we actually had I guess you could call it a student versus teacher match here, as we had Mick Diamond going up against Eric Stone.
You know,
I'm waiting for the comment. I'm waiting for the comment.
No, there is no comment here. There is absolutely no comment. This was a very good competitive match by both. This is, like you said, just like Jedi Master versus Padawan. This is student versus teacher. This is, I taught you a lot of this stuff. Let's see what you knew, but I didn't teach you everything. So let's see if you can adapt. And honestly, I got to give it to Mick Diamond here. He threw as good of a match as you could possibly throw at Derek Stone, man. Derek Stone got him outsized, outpowered. Mick Diamond's got the speed, but like Derek Stone has that like one punch power where one shot can literally stop any freight train that is inside of that Rocky Mountain Pro ring. And no matter how fast Mick Diamond got going, Derek Stone had that answer. I mean, Mick even had it going where he went after Derek's knee, that injured, repaired knee that he has. And Mick starts going after, he starts stretching it 17 ways to next Tuesday and trying to really like get some aggression out, some frustration, keep the big man down. And he does keep Derek Stone down for too long, but he made one mistake, John, in my opinion. He made one mistake out of a lot of this. When he went up to the top for that stage dive crossbody that he likes to do, he just took way too long. He gave Stone a chance to turn around and see him there while he was Bill and Tedding on the top rope. And I know maybe that's like the adrenaline button, man. The more times he goes, it's like winding up the old car to get the engine going, man. Maybe he was trying to get it going, but it was just one too many A chords off. And Derek Stone catches him and drives him through the mat with the Michinoku driver for the win right here. And Derek Stone manages to take an onslaught. Don't get me wrong. Stone dealt out his share of punishment earlier in the match, John, and we saw Mick really reeling early in the match, a lot of big elbows and everything else. But Derek Stone standing tall in his return match, I guess you could say, return singles match.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. He gets a win over Mick, who, honestly, Mick has really been throwing some good matches at people.
I was just going to say, man, you want to talk about from the beginning of January up until now?
Yep.
Man, he's been looking a lot better. And I know he's taken a bunch of L's in the process, which you have to. You have to learn how to lose before you start winning. It's the same moniker with a lot of other sports. Got to learn how to lose before you actually taste success. And that's what Mick's going through right now. And Mick has taken a lot of L's. He's taken a lot of bumps, taken a lot of bruises. And kid still keeps on coming week in and week out. And you can tell that he is vastly improving ever since he made his debut at the beginning of this year. And tonight was no different. He took a guy that was twice his size and, had a couple of opportunities to possibly maybe even put him down.
did.
So
He got him to the canvas a few times. Just doesn't have that finishing ability yet. We're watching Mick Diamond grow and develop different parts of his game. He's learning combos. He's going from one move to the next nice and fluidly now. 6 months ago, that was not the case. Now it is far, like, more often the case than anything. But just when he gets to that end of that match, he's got to find a way to just shut the door. Instead of leaving it open for one final move, like getting caught, you got to just shut the door. Even if you hit the guy from behind, so what? You gotta hit the guy before the move can work. And if he catches you, it's never gonna work. So Mick really taking the notes, and it's a testament to the training at the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. He's really come a long way, and he's not too much farther away. I'm willing to say it. I don't think he's that much further away from being able to put a couple matches away. So we look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
I don't either. Moving on here. We have another newcomer as well from the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, Queso, going up against a man who is more than likely not in a good mood and probably won't be in a good mood for a little while. The former, now I should say, NRW champion, Damon Ace.
I'm glad you said it. I wasn't going to say that out loud.
I don't have a choice but to say it, so there you go.
I was going to kind of gloss around that a little teeny tiny bit, but yeah, Damon Ace is in an absolute foul mood. He comes out, and the minute that bell rings, you just see the expression on his face change, and all of the target of his ire, of his angst, all that frustration in his belly just immediately gets pinned right on Queso's forehead and later on his chest with some chops that I do believe not just broke his ribs, but also broke the top turnbuckle in some specific way. I don't know. Hopefully they're figuring that out right now. But Damon Ace is just a rolling freight train of a human being when he gets going. The power, the chops. I mean, for Queso's credit, dude, he did everything that he possibly could. And we've said it many times here. If you're going to get going on Damon and you're going to get Damon reeling, you got to quick it up. You got to come with the big moves, big boot, enziguri, shots, another knee. It just can't stop. And for Queso's credit, he does this for a little span in the middle of the match, gets Damon down to a knee, gets him on his ass in the corner, and actually has him down. But Damon has that tank of reserve adrenaline that we don't see out of 99% of any other wrestler that you watch, that he just has that like ability to go down and tap that reserve tank and just kind of get it going. He catches Queso coming off the rope for a drop kick, catches him nicely, and just sits back into a really devastating Boston Crab, almost bending the kid backwards. Human beings are not flamingos. Our backs, our legs, we don't bend like that. However, Queso does now. After that Boston Crab this evening, it was just absolutely devastating. The poor kid couldn't even breathe. They had to stop the match. It was over. Damon Ace wins the match. Queso ends up getting out with his life intact. And sometimes in a Damon Ace match, that is half of the battle. But Damon is in a foul mood after what happened at Shocktober, Johnny. And even that match was something that we had never seen before. So to come out of that and to still have this aggression level, it just speaks volumes about the kind of man that Damon Ace really is, John.
Well, if you think about it, just look at what he had to do just to get that title. You know what I mean? He went through a year-long feud or rivalry between the founder of Rocky Mountain Pro, Mercury Yaden. And I don't know. It's really... It would be very devastating if I was in Damon's shoes to have to go through all of that throughout the course of the year and then in a few months' time lose it. Now, granted, everything was against him at that point because, I mean, Carnival Deathmatch, first of its kind, never seen it before. He really didn't know what to expect. And I don't even think Sin Bodhi knew what to expect either, to be honest with you. Sin Bodhi just capitalized on it.
Did you see that, like, all those toys, weapons, and otherwise destructive
They
objects?
had goddamn machetes in the goddamn ring, dude.
Machetes, bro. They blew each other up. They literally blew each other
literally.
up.
And we'll talk about everything that we saw at Shocktober this Sunday as we will be doing our review show for last Thursday's event. God damn, I keep on forgetting to mute this goddamn thing. I already know. All
Hey,
right.
Mr. Fourth Row. Hey, Alice. How we doing, everybody in chat over here on YouTube?
Hello, hello. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so we will have Lucas Bravo with us as always this Sunday, and we also will be having, I do believe, El Presidente Danger Dean joining us as well this Sunday. So we'll actually get his thoughts on his main event match at Shocktober as well when we do the review show. We will be starting the show, of course, with another episode of NRW Charge. Episode 2, I do believe we are on. That'll be the first half of the show. We'll go right into the review of Shocktober right afterwards. So, jam-packed Sunday coming at you this weekend. Make sure you tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Now time for the
You
Rocky
did it.
Mountain
You did it.
Rewind.
You did it. The Mountain Now time. Love it.
Oh yeah, you haven't been here since I added that to my vocab.
No. I was here the first night that we did that. I was here the first night we did that. The Mountain Now time thing. I was here. That was the Sunday before we left for Shocktober. That was like 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
Oh yeah, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, moving on. Poor Queso got his ass beat, but at the same time, he lived to tell about it. So
I'll tell you this though. We saw Damon walking out at the end of the match. Damon's gonna know he was in a match tomorrow morning when he wakes up.
oh no, Queso had some shots in there and actually took him off his feet a couple times. So
Yeah.
kudos to him, to be honest. All right.
Mr. Fourth Row says it's all Arizona's fault that it's mountain time.
Is that a thing?
They don't change their clocks in a lot of places in Arizona. They don't do the daylight savings like.
Why do we
straightforward
have
back.
to? Why do we have to?
It sucks. I
That's
hate it.
stupid. That's stupid.
I hate it.
Send it to Congress. Screw it.
They've been trying to every year. You hear that they're gonna debate about it, and that's a story for another show. Let's keep going right here. We got some more wrestling to talk.
I want to live in Arizona now.
Hey, Aiden.
All right, we had some Lockets action to talk about this evening. We had Lola the Adventurer going up against Lilith Grimm in an opportunity to possibly earn that number one contender slot at No Thanksgiving. Yeah. No Thanksgiving.
That's enunciation.
Yes. All right.
No, we renew this heated rivalry that has been in the Lockheads division for almost the entire year. Lola, the Adventurer versus Lilith Grimm. And this one's interesting because the Lockheads champion, Adrian Mascari, is on commentary this evening. So she has one of the best seats in the house to watch a potential for who could be her next number one contender for the title right here. And Lilith doesn't really waste any time. She comes up and gets that first advantage just by using her power. And we've seen Lilith go to this many, many times because it's smart. It works. She has this power advantage over Lola. She always will. So go to it as much as humanly possible. And she does it with just so many like clubbing blows and just blunt shots in the corner that Lilith Grimm can just bring that kind of power anywhere she goes. Lola has to quick up a little bit, but then Lola does something really smart. She's taken a little bit of a beating so far, but she locks in a sleeper, and it really kind of like a piggyback sleeper, and it really kind of slows Lilith Grimm down so Lola can actually get a breath of air in her lungs, think about what to do next. It's actually a really smart move on Lola's part. And from this, both kind of take turns going back and forth here. But Lilith ends up withstanding all the onslaught and can just power forward with a huge headbutt, bunch more forearms, and then catches Lola off the ropes with a big blue thunder bomb. This is the first time I think we've seen her win a match against Lola with a blue thunder bomb like this. But spins her around and plants her center of the ring for the 1-2-3. And Lilith Grimm gets the big win at the big time in front of the champion, while a lot of eyes are on this particular match, what's going forward. So the rivalry's renewed. Lilith Grimm getting the better of him over the last few times and looking really, really solid. I think this is huge for her, John. Like, Lilith really has to put a lot of what's happened to her in these last few months with the asylum and then losing the champion and everything else. She's got to put all that behind her and keep moving forward. And as we're seeing right here, I think that's exactly what she's doing. She's keeping her eyes focused on the prize. We saw her talking to Damon Ace the other night on Charged. So
which still blows my mind. I don't understand why that is, but
Damon gets things done. This is what I took out of that. Damon goes in the ring, and more often than not, than you can count on as many fingers as you can find, whether Brewmark is eating them or not, is that Damon Ace gets things done when he steps inside those ropes. That wasn't bad, right? That wasn't bad.
That
He
was
gets
pretty
things
good.
done. So for Lilith to go over and kind of say, look, no beef here. I need to talk to you, is, some might call it, going to the dark side. Some might call it actually wicked smart that she went to somebody who more often than not goes in and gets it done. Maybe this is what she needs. Maybe this is what she needs, like a new change in philosophy, maybe some new moves. Maybe she's asking for a little bit of coaching. But whether you like them or you hate them, you got to admit that if you're looking to get yourself more powerful and more aggressive, Damon Ace is a pretty good guy to take some advice from. That's what I took out of that from Charged. There could be multiple interpretations of this, but tonight it seems to have proved positive, with Lilith Grimm getting a win with a move that we don't see her use very, very often, and looking really, really good for it at the end.
It's actually a very good observation.
That's what I took out of it anyway.
Because doesn't Damon Ace use the Blue Thunder Bomb as well?
He has before. Yes, he has. It's been a while since we've seen it, but that move is definitely in his arsenal, 110%.
Interesting. All right. Well, Lola tried. Lola's just having one of those years, man. There's good, and then there's bad, and then there's good, and then there's bad. Right now, she's on the lower half of the spectrum here, and she's taken quite a bit of L's over the past few weeks. But we've also seen Lola been able to rise up and be able to get on her streak and start winning some matches consecutively. And if she wants a chance, well, another chance at the Lockettes Championship in 2023, she's going to have to start putting some W's together pretty soon. And that whole Preston thing too with Lola too is still also very confusing. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about Charge, obviously, because you're not on Tuesdays. What do you think about that whole situation with Lola and Preston? And I wonder if that's playing into effect the kind of downswing of Lola to an extent over the past few weeks.
Well, we've seen that nothing has been right in the law office ever since J.K. Pop was forced to break up. Nothing has been right. And, Preston is scrambling. He doesn't really have any clients anymore that he's really kind of representing type,
Well, that we know of. I mean, as far as we know, yeah.
We haven't seen on screen him coming out with anybody else. And here's Lola, who tried to work her way into the law office. And it seemed like for a little while she had. But then, like I said, ever since Milestone, the law office has really been in disarray, wicked shambles, if you will. And now it almost seemed like Preston was ducking Lola, shutting the blinds out so she couldn't see. She's out in the steps trying to get a hold of him, trying to find out what's going on. And he's ducking her like he owes her money or something. So there's some confusing times with what's going on with Preston and where his allegiances lie. And Lola's kind of getting left out to dry here. So I don't know. We're going to have to just keep watching Lola and see how this progresses and see how she deals with it. But from what I saw, it didn't seem like Preston wanted a single cent out of the nickel at all that is representing Lola the Adventurer, and I do not know why.
Well, in order to find out what's going on with the law office and all things in Rocky Mountain Pro, make sure you tune in to Charge every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Now time. Yes, Mountain Now time. And you'll be able to get yourself caught up on everything that happened, the fallout of Shocktober, and everything going on in Rocky Mountain Pro for their weekly episodic television show, Charged. And of course, we have Dudes and Belts Recharge immediately afterwards when we do the exact same thing that we're doing right now, immediately after each episode of Charged. All right, moving on here. We have Echo Boosin going up against Jason Knoll. And I do believe this is the match that you were talking about earlier about there was definitely a different crowd reaction and a different response to this match.
An extremely different response. Look, this crowd was loud. They were ruckus. They were screaming. They were yelling. They were cheering all night long. This was a great crowd in the Wimmer this evening. And tonight, they kind of made their own decision during the course of this match that they kind of wanted Jason Knoll, pardon me, they wanted Jason Knoll to really kind of eviscerate Echo Busen as much as humanly possible. And Jason Knoll tries in the very beginning of this match here. And it almost seemed like Echo come out with a game plan to frustrate the big man because he kept hiding between the ropes. And then he kind of takes a walk on the outside, and Knoll's getting really pissed in the ring. And yeah, that might be a smart strategy to get him to get a lot of anger going and a lot of aggression and, you know, use a lot of his energy. But if he catches you, that's the other half of the strategy. See, if he catches you while he still has that whole ball of Red Bull energy that is Jason Knoll being all pissed off, then it's not going to be too good for you. And for a little bit of a while here during the beginning part of this match, it wasn't too good for Echo Busen. And Knoll just turns on that power when he finally gets Echo in the ring, man, and just shot after shot, big clothesline right in the middle. And we just see the pain on Echo's face and body. Like, it almost like the pain was so heavy it doesn't register on Echo's face. Like his body just has to go numb. Like Jason Knoll throwing the heavy shots around. But then Echo goes right back to it. He gets on the outside, and I'm telling you right now, this really fires up Jason. And it was right around this time that it was the crowd that really turned in. I'm not going to say turned on Echo because Echo did that himself. But as far as the crowd turning to be for Jason, this is right around the time when it happened. And you have Jason chants. And I couldn't believe my ears because we've seen Jason do some despicable things over the last few months, but it really seemed like the faithful wanted him to get his hands on Echo Busen tonight. And he really does for a long time. He gets a good part of the action in his favor. I mean, he gets Echo up for a nice solid stalling suplex for like 3-4 seconds, has him up there and just drops him down. And it's really looking like Jason Knoll is going to put this away. We're one sky high away. But Echo finds that way at the very end to kind of slink out of the hold. And we see the big Inzaguri. And then that iron octopus, that standing submission that he gets his arms around his neck and hooks all around his body. And Jason just can't breathe. He's got to tap out. He has to tap out. Ref Eli ends the match right here. And for a match that firmly, if you go back and watch it, Jason Knoll's in solid control of this match for like 70, 80% of the time. Echo finds a way to win at the very, very end and puts his name in the win column. And for all the punishment that he took tonight, Johnny, Echo showing the faithful, he's showing Brew, and he showed Jason Knoll firsthand tonight to just never count him out. It doesn't matter how big his opponent is or how small his opponent is. Echo Busen will have a move at the end that can beat you.
The innovator of offense is what I like to describe Echo Busen from time to time, and he showed it this evening with the octopus to end it here against Jason Knoll, which, quite honestly, he kind of had to figure out something, because I find it hard to believe that he's going to be able to pick a guy up like Jason Knoll to put him down. I mean, he does that. He does have that that double drop kick to the side of the head that he does off the ropes, and he also has the double stomp from the top. But in order to get at least the double stomp and to get the double drop kick, Jason Knoll has to be down in some way, shape, or form. And again, Echo being clever and coming up with the octopus Inzaguri. What do you mean Inzaguri?
The name of the move is an Inzaguri. I called it an Inzi.
Oh.
I didn't say the move's last name.
Oh, well, way to go, asshole.
What I do? I'm a masshole. A masshole. Get it right.
All right. But yeah, no, Echo showing his smarts in the ring.
Wicked smarts.
Yeah. And was able to get it done against Jason Knoll. And hey, kudos to Jason Knoll. Who knows? Maybe he's turning a leaf. Maybe he did something throughout the course of the week that got the fans going, hey, maybe we should root for him this week or something. I don't know. But then again, at the same time, you got to pick the lesser of the evils here at the moment.
And I think that might have been a big deal of it because later in the match we do see Noel kind of, with the boots
Oh, here
into
we
the
go.
face in the corner.
See, yeah,
I'm gonna I'm gonna get
you're
yelled
gonna
at.
get it. You're
Uh-oh.
gonna get it
All right.
now.
Oh no.
I should be recording this.
Hello, sir.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
You said Inzaguri.
Did I say
You- you-
Inzaguri?
you-
I thought I just said Inzi.
Yeah, no, you said it's an Inzaguri, but you said Inzaguri.
Oh. Well,
Like
that's
it's
what we
gory.
Boston guys do. We don't add Oz to places.
I
We add
understand that.
weird vowels.
That was the joke. That was the.
I
I
thought
even
I just
emphasized
called
gory.
You did? I
Yeah.
thought that just meant it was like all Halloweeny and stuff.
No, well, I mean that's how you said it all Halloweeny, so I just repeated it Halloweeny.
Happy Halloween.
Just wanted to make sure you're clear on that. It's
No,
a lot
no,
harder
I
to
got-
type it. I'm being safe here, on the road, and I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. Oh, and you said Red Bull, like all hopped like Red Bulls. Like it's Raise Energy, man.
Oh, he's all
Raised
raised up.
energy.
That's right. He's raised up.
Raise
He's
up.
raised up.
Raise them up. Repsports.com, 50% off with code RMP. We'll see you guys later.
Oh, you deserve every bit of that one.
Every little bit of it.
Every little bit of
Yes.
that one.
Yep.
We do have Bruce Wayne's in chat though, which, by
Yes,
the
we
way,
do.
we are going to be talking about him next. And boy, did I pop! I popped for the entrance of this man tonight.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yes. That was an awesome tribute tonight, Bossy. That was a great tribute.
All right, we have Brew going up against Bruce Wayne's and probably the hottest fight of the night. Yeah, dude. I mean, they gave me shit last week for saying giving instead of given. Okay,
Because it's
all-
the name of the show.
I understand that. I understand
Right.
that. But I said
Right.
ing because that's just natural for Thanksgiving. That's just how I've said it for like all my life. And now all of a sudden it's given. It's given.
Because that's the name of the show.
I
Yeah.
get that.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
I screwed
And,
up once.
and I just found out it is not an Inzaguri. It is an Inzaguri.
Yes.
It's so many weird, like that's a vowel swap. I'm used to swapping Oz consonants. The vowel thing is, I don't know. It's a thing.
We just
So
have to accept from now on that the faithful and the talent and Yaden is going to correct us more often than not throughout the rest of our times here in Rocky Mountain Pro with our language and our accents because we don't talk like them. Okay?
No, we do not. No, we do not.
We're just going to have to accept it. This is just going to be an ongoing thing, but this is why they like us because they give us a bunch of BS for our accents and how we pronounce stuff.
And it is what it is. And I deserved every bit of that one. And Yaden's not wrong in the absolute least bit. It is an Inzaguri. Echo hit a hell of an Inzaguri at the end of that.
Ba, 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 ba. All right,
God, I love
man.
this.
I missed that Go XLR. All right. Moving on here. Brew versus Bruce Wayne's in the semi-main event this evening. What'd you have on this match?
What is it? What's a langrage? I'm staying away from that one because I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I said language. Right? All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
I'm just digging my own hole over here. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
It's
Um,
just going to be a thing, man. I don't know.
No. We're good.
I
You
don't
mentioned
know.
it perfectly that this was the absolute hoss fight of the evening. The underbossy versus Brew.
Did you just call him the underbossy?
The
That's
underbossy,
great. That's
Well,
great.
yeah. Because it's absolutely true. What a great tribute. He took the hat off and the right way and everything. We were both sitting here just popping, watching that. That was fantastic. But no, really even strength between these two guys. Beginning part of this match, nobody's going to make a mistake. You make a mistake against a big guy. I don't care how big you are. And again, like we talked about earlier with Derek Stone, the big guys like this, they got that one punch power, man. Brew has it. We know Boss has it. And both of these guys are not going to like take that chance, right? Bossy does get the first advantage in the match. We see a nice side kick and he's kicking ass, but Brew is also here for the fight, man. And Brew ends up getting the advantage after that and doesn't let go of it for a long time. Brew's in charge of this match for a really long time. Some big body slams, and even throws in one of them buffalo slams in there for a quick near fall. And Bossy knows he's here for a fight at this point in time too, but Brew just keeps the Bossy down. The big elbows. We see a bow and arrow stretch on, kind of modified a little bit because he kind of had him under the chin instead of stretching the arms like that. But either way, still a big abdominal stretch like that. We see Brew kind of regain the advantage, and this is where I was saying that Brew really just should like make sure he eats beforehand. Like, somebody really needs to get this guy a sandwich. Somebody please give Brew like a $5 so we can go to Subway and get a footlong, because he decided to take a munch out of Bossy's chopping hand as though that was going to get it done. And that's highly illegal in the ring. Coming from a ref, you can't be eating a guy's fingers in the ring, man. Brew, you really got to be eating before the match goes off here, but you can't be munching on the guy. But Brew does control a lot of the action after that and really keeps going at his own pace until Boss kind of fires back out of a corner while Brew was coming in for the Buffalo run and catches him up for the big choke slam, a la Undertaker style. Catches him there, and then we see him hit the prettiest elbow at the end. He tried to earlier, but Brew had tripped him up with the feet. This time it worked, and he hits that elbow for the 1, 2, 3. And Bruce Waynes gets a big win here. This is like a statement win. Bruce is a half of the tag team champions, Chopper City, kicking ass and taking names. But Brew right now is one of these forces, and you could tell that he's kind of taken Echo's tutelage, and
he got
just
good.
Becoming
he got
this
good.
Force. Right. But
he was
Brew
already
really,
good, but he got good.
The game got stepped up. I don't know if it was the new gear, because he's got that piss of new red gear that he's wearing. I don't know if it's the partnership or if it's the whole amalgam of everything. But Brew has really stepped the game up. And Bossy, for the better part of this match, had a hard time. But, Johnny, we see it happen 100 times. The second that you leave Boss in a corner for long enough where he can put some air in them lungs is the second that he can get you with that choke slam, with that batarang, with that big sidekick. Never, ever give the Boss too much time to breathe. And I think that was only Brew's only mistake on the entire evening, was just giving him those 3 seconds. And the final Boss looking great at the end of the match, Johnny.
There's a reason why he is your former Rocky Mountain Pro heavyweight champion. There's a reason why he's your former charge champion. I think we heard a little bit while back. I think Damon was the one that mentioned that he's one of the best singles competitors in Rocky Mountain Pro history. Well, you can say that to a few other people as well, but I think Bruce Waynes has definitely put himself in that conversation.
I completely agree with you. That's a good point.
And again, like you said, the amount of time that Brucey's been in the ring, and we've seen it time in and time out again, you give Brucey a minute or two extra for him to collect himself, he's going to come right at you. And boy, that man's a former professional football player, man. When he comes at you, he's coming at you, and he's gonna knock you on your ass 100%. So again, Bruce Waynes with a huge victory. Brew, I can't say enough good things about Brew right now. I know that he's kind of intertwined with the whole Echo Boosting thing and their attitudes towards life at the moment in Rocky Mountain Pro. But man, dude, ever since he had his medical scare and all that stuff, and, you know, he had some spurts with that issue over the course of the summer and stuff like that, man, past month or two, man, he's been really turning it on, man. He's really starting to impress the holy hell out of me. Win or lose tonight, man. I mean, he was probably one mistake away from beating a former Rocky Mountain Pro champion.
I couldn't agree more. No, the game has been stepped up so very high by this kid. And, like, just look at the match right here that we have. Like I said earlier tonight, we were talking about people controlling 70-80% of the match. Brumont controlled 70-80% of this match. Bossy had his moments. Not saying that Brew didn't know he was there having a fight, because he did. but Brew had that wherewithal to just cut him off.
Did
and
you
get
see him
back
pick
on
him
top.
up and just slam him down virtually with
Yeah.
almost one hand? Or one arm, I should say.
Mm-hmm. It was them big body slams that he threw at him earlier in the match, man. It just see, this is the other little intangibles that it's really hard to teach. Using a guy's own momentum against him. And Brew did that tonight with Boss many, many times. Because Boss is a big fella. When he gets that freight train going, man, if it hits you, you're going down. But if you can use it to take him up and over, and Brew's doing a better job at all them little tiny intangibles. And he threw one hell of a match at Boss tonight. But Boss was just there at the end. Like we said, he gave him that extra 2 seconds in the corner, went for the Buffalo run, got caught.
And of course, our main event for this evening on Ignition, we had the Beauty and the Beast Remy D going up against your charge champion Briscoe Crown. Marky, what did you have on this match? I mean, this is the first full week that we've seen Briscoe Crown back in action since his injury. Yep. Your thoughts?
Oh, man, I tell you, he looks really, really good. This is the Briscoe that we saw before he hurt himself. And, you know, going up against a guy like a Remy D, like a friend, these guys, they've had competition before. They've wrestled each other. They're good buds. They know what to expect out of each other. One thing I'm going to say, though, and unfortunately you have to face this fact, is that knowing that he's coming back from an injury, and especially where he's wearing a pad to guard it, man, that's a target. That is a target to go after. And Remy tries not to for a good deal of the match. He just goes out and wrestles. And Remy does a really good job early of grounding Briscoe very early, using his size and just his mass to just keep Briscoe down. He has him in a hammerlock for a good 20, 30 seconds, make him think about what's going on at the view at the bottom of the canvas. It takes Briscoe to have to get quick, and Remy knows that the minute this kid gets quick, things can change on a dime. And Briscoe does finally get that opportunity. It takes a few minutes for him to finally get there, but he does end up going back and gets Remy down reeling. We do see a little bit of back and forth, but that's when Remy kind of gets smart a little bit about this match, and he says, this is a big high-profile match. I'm in here against the charge champion. I have to do something. I have to win this match, and I'm going to go after your arm. He doesn't, like, beat it in, but what he does is he applies a couple really tight top wrist locks, man, and really gets that pressure cranked down on that repaired elbow of Briscoe Crown, and you see Briscoe reeling from it. You know, you have to look at the good and the bad of it. Yes, you do you want to go after a guy's injury? Not necessarily, but do you have to win this match because it's a big match? Yes, you do. So Remy makes the choice, and he goes after it, and he goes after the wrist lock, and that really wears the guy down, especially where the finishing move is a crowning achievement. He needs both arms for that. Briz does end up getting some offense back in the corner on Remy. We see a lot of big reversal spots in the corner over there. Briz gets the better of it after a little bit of a while. Kind of gets Remy reeling. Kind of a little snapmare out of the corner. Big boot to the back for the good measure. Excuse me. But then when Remy does finally get his fight back in, then he uses Briscoe's quickness against him. We were just talking about this with Brewmark, using it against Boss, and we see Remy do it in a nice O'Connor roll at the end, where it looked like we had a finish real quick, but Ref Alice lets us know it was only 2 because Remy picked him back up and Germaned him back over his head for the big O'Connor roll suplex, which looked absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. And he gets a near fall out of that. But then while he's down, Briscoe finds this way to just get the advantage back in the corner and hit a crowning achievement coming up and over Remy's shoulders. Hits it, drops Remy really, really quick. And Briscoe Crown gets that, I'm not going to say a surprise win out of nowhere, but I don't know.
No,
if
you
Remy's
can't say
seen
that
it
now.
coming.
You can't say that now.
I don't think Remy saw the crowning achievement coming the way that Briscoe delivered it when he hops up over his shoulders to like reverse a shot that Remy was about to give him, and then he drops him back down into the crowning achievement. That's just a strategically placed finishing move, and I got to give Briscoe Crown credit for it because he took out a guy that was bigger than him and stronger than him in this main event match to solidify the Charge Championship for himself, and looking strong at the very end. We get a little sign of respect at the end between the fellas, and we had one hell of a great main event on top of one hell of a great Ignition, John.
Yeah, No, give credit where credit is due. Briscoe Crown
Yes,
once
sir.
again shows why he is the charged champion, and he will be defending that charged championship at No Thanksgiving. We just don't know who his opponent is right now, but he looks ready to go. He's going to have a few more weeks to get fine tuned in the ring before that match eventually happens. And Remy D, I mean, we already know where his mindset is, man. And unfortunately, he took the L tonight. It's okay. I don't think that's really going to deter him from what's coming down the pipeline here at No Thanksgiving, as he will have a match against CBD. And I think we're all looking forward to that match. Remy's finally going to get his hands on him, legally, I should say.
Yes,
And these two look great, and these two got good chemistry in the ring as well. So I mean,
they do.
I'm
That's a good
sure
point.
we're going to see these guys tangling up in the ring more and more as we end up 2023, heading into 2024, which I mean next year is already looking pretty huge. And I'm sure the full schedule will be out in about a month or two about what's going to happen in 2024. And I mean, after No Thanksgiving, man, we're going right into almost kind of the road to milestone already. If you think about it, man, we're only a few months away from that.
We kick it right off in January with Aces Wild, and then we run from there. And Aces Wild has milestone implications, so there's all kinds of stuff that
Well,
happens
no, I
right away.
misspoke. I misspoke. That is not the case. On the road to Never Broken, I should say.
Well, yeah,
Because the winner of the Aces Wild tournament has that championship opportunity at Never Broken. But just even talking about Never Broken now, and we're in the middle of October already. It's pretty insane. And with these tournaments, we already have a couple of contestants for that Aces Wild tournament technically already in the books. So the two finalists from the past Superchargers, obviously Echo Boosin. He's going to be in the Aces Wild tournament. I think he's been in the final match both times thus far. And who was in the other one? Oh, Balaam Lynx. Well, not
Balaam
Balaam
Lynx.
Lynx. Lobo Loco.
Well,
Balaam Lynx.
Lobo Loco.
He will be at Aces Wild as well. He's in that tournament. So Aces Wild's already kind of in our foresight right after No Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a action-packed beginning of 2024. It's already looking like it. And we also have another show that the dudes specifically are going to be looking forward to, and that's in December, and that's the Peak Awards. That's going to be getting some fire and getting some momentum in November when we start to push that, and we'll let you know how we're going to manage the Peak Awards this year once we get closer to it. It's going to be a little different this year. I think I made that announcement at the end of the Peak Awards last year, that the fans are going to be picking the winners this year for the first time ever. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this year's Peak Awards is going to turn out. But other than that, that match concluded Ignition. So your final thoughts on Ignition tonight?
This was almost like a pay-per-view level show this evening. This was a big Ignition coming out of Shocktober. There's a lot of stories that are still to be written, and there are a lot of stories that the next chapter is just beginning. I feel like Brewmark is one of those guys where his next chapter Brew is just beginning. Damon Ace, the story continues of him just being this violent freight train of a human being rolling all over everybody. Chopper City riding high right now in Rocky Mountain Pro. There is so much going on with so many different people that you just cannot afford to miss a week. And tonight's Ignition is proof positive of that. You never know what you're going to see. You're never going to know who's going to be in the match. You have to watch because everything revolves around what we do inside of that ring. And these guys tell these stories every single week. They let you know. You got to be here to see it. Tonight on Ignition is one thing. Next Tuesday on Charged, the stories continue. Man, don't miss a week of Rocky Mountain Pro action. You can't.
And also, don't miss the Rocky Mountain Rewind that we do every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Now time, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And obviously, we've already said at the beginning of the show, this week is a little bit of a special show as we will be reviewing everything that happened last Thursday on Shocktober with Lucas Bradwell. And El Presidente Danger Dean will be joining us as well, as he'll be able to give his thoughts on his match in the main event and the entire show in general. It's always good to hear what the president has to say or think about Shocktober as a whole as well, because he watched the show before his match as we all did. And I'm curious to see his thoughts. Other than that, there's no RMP Live this weekend. They have the weekend off. I believe Summit Tacos is the next one, but that's not until next week. I believe it's the 21st of October is when that will be taking place. So in about a week from now, they'll be back on the road at Summit Tacos. I don't know the exact location. I'll bring that up on Sunday once I figure that out. And other than that, folks, that is it for us. So pretty mellow weekend leading up to Sunday's show. So, I actually can semi-announce that, and actually we kind of just talked about it before we flipped the curtain. The Dudes and Belts is going to start a little bit of a Patreon channel.
Yeah.
So we're going to be adding some. Oh, our friends Hugo's Have a Slow Sunday.
Show.
A show Sunday.
Little typo.
Yeah, send us the info and we'll be able to push that out. But yeah, so the Dudes and Belts will be setting up a Patreon. It's going to be a small one on that channel or that website or whatever you want to call Patreon. I don't know. I'm just trying to get my feet wet in it. We're going to be posting some content on the stuff that you guys don't see behind the curtain. Because there have been times when I've come on this show to start a show, and I'm like, you guys won't believe what the conversation was before we went live today. Well, that is what you're going to get on Patreon.
We've had a few
behind
doozies.
the scenes. Yeah.
Couple arguments. We've had a couple arguments. Some good conversations sometimes, but, we're dudes.
So we're gonna get that set up for you guys, and once that's all set up and ready to go, we'll let you know. We'll post our first video probably soon after we post the Patreon, and I believe it's gonna be like patreon.com/dudes and belts or something like that. But the cost is gonna be very low. I think it's probably gonna be like $2 or $3. Like we're not trying to steal your money here. We're not like that. So if you guys want to see exclusive Dudes and Belt content behind the curtain that nobody else sees.
Mr. Fourth Row says, Patreon instead of only dudes?
Oh, that we've had a conversation about that thing as well. So
I'm not making it.
No, not that. We're talking about what happened.
I got a wife. I got kids. I got a business.
We're talking about what happened last year. No, that's.
I got kids.
That got brought up, and that's still going to be a thing. Trust me. It has been a very extremely busy 2023. If you haven't seen already, in RMP and for the dudes as well. And it's only going to get busier as we wind down 2023. So we'll keep you updated on all that stuff as well. So I'm actually going to be talking with some fellas, and we're going to try and nail down something for 2024. That's for sure.
Sweet.
So other than that is it for us, folks. There will be... No, I'll talk about it more on Sunday. I'm not going to say it just yet. So there'll be something else to talk about on Sunday before we wrap up the show on later on that night. And other than that, folks, that is going to conclude Dudes and Belts Reignited for this evening. We thank you all so much for watching. As always, folks, myself, Johnny Deathdrop, and Marky Pins, we will see you guys on Sunday for another episode of the Rocky Mountain Rewind and a special edition of Dudes and Belts, I guess you could say recharge, going over everything that happened last week on Shocktober with a review show with Lucas Bradwell and El Presidente Danger Dean. Till then, folks, as we always say, stay safe, stay classy. We'll see you on the next one.